everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create a floral background for your card using the Isabella scrapbooking stamps. This is the stamp set. And then I'm going to use a sentiment from the Wander card making stamp set that says "So glad you're friends," and then also stitched rectangles. So I've set up all of the floral stamps in my MISTI, and I have a piece of white daisy cardstock cut just a little smaller than an A2 card size, so just a smidge smaller than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to ink up all these stamps using Versamark ink. It's a sticky ink that you use for embossing powder, sticks to it, okay? So I've inked them up really well, and I'm going to stamp out all of these images on this piece of white daisy cardstock. So I'm doing it all at once because you have to work a little quickly when you're using the embossing powder. So I've got this gold embossing powder, and this is from Nuvo, but you can use whatever embossing powder you like. Whatever is your favorite. This one is mine. And I'm going to sprinkle it over a coffee filter to catch the excess. And then do it again for the other side. And just tap off any strays. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to funnel everything left over back into the jar. Okay. So I'm going to heat it up in a second with my heat tool and melt the embossing powder. These floral images are so pretty. So I've sped this up super quick. All right, so we'll get to those empty spaces in just a second. So first of all, I'm going to cut a piece of peacock cardstock using the largest stitched rectangle. So I'm going to create a frame for around the edges of my card. So I'm doing this so that I kind of know where to position my last two stamps for my background. Okay, so I've got my rectangle cut out, and then I'm going to lay it on top and kind of see what it looks like and where my sentiment is going to go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pull two of those stamps that were on my MISTI, and I'm going to put them on blocks. So I'm going to use one of the flowers and one of the leaves. Okay, so I'm going to stamp these also in Versamark, same way I did the other ones. And since I'm going to stamp a little bit over the edges, I've got a piece of scratch paper underneath everything. So I'll stamp those out and then stamp the leaf. So now I have my background all covered. And then I'll do the same thing. I'm going to sprinkle some embossing powder on it. And then I'll tap it off and heat it up with my heat tool. That's looking good. Get cleaned up there, and then we'll melt everything. Okay. All right, now I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And I'm using peacock ink. And it says, "So glad we're friends." And this one doesn't have a coordinating thin cut, but it's super easy to fussy cut. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave a teensy edge of white around it, which it makes it easier to cut things out in case you don't cut an exact straight line. It's a little less noticeable when you leave a little tiny white edge around it. Okay, All right, so I'm gonna color everything in using my tri-blend markers, and I'll take this off screen. And through the magic of video, it's all finished. So I've got everything colored in, and now I'm ready to start assembling my card. Okay, so I'm just gonna put everything down with Tombow. And I'd cut this just a smidge smaller than an A2 card. And then that stitch border is going to cover up everything and make all the edges even. So I'm going to put that down with the Aqua Tombow glue, just a tiny bead of glue all the way around the edges. We'll get that down. Super simple. And then you can shift the frame as needed and kind of fiddle with it a little bit to make it all match up all the edges. And then I'm going to pot my sentiment with some thin foam tape. So I'll get that down. Trying to figure out where to put that sentiment. And I think that looks good. There we go. Okay, and so for some added bling, I'm going to bring in some of these crystals from Pink Fresh Studios, and I'm going to scatter a bunch of those around to add some more bling and interest to the card and kind of fill in those spaces in between the images. So I'm just choosing which color I like best, and I think that one's going to work. And then I'll skip ahead. I'm just placing them right now, and then I'm going to tack them down with some of the white Tombow glue. All right, get all those down. So I've decanted the Tombow glue into this applicator, and we'll get all those adhered. Okay. All right, and there's my card. So I appreciate you watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. All of these supplies are available in my online store, and I will make a list of everything with links in the description below, and you can go shopping at the URL in the upper right corner of your screen. Thanks for watching.